Hello, beautiful wayward warriors. Welcome to our latest spiritual guidance pick-a-pile reading. I am the Magical Medium, and this is my spiritual guidance channel. Today, we are working with the waxing crescent energy. We're in the setting intention energy. Today, the Four Agreements deck by Miguel Ruiz wanted to speak to us. And it's interesting because I do a lot of the times I seem to do 4 piles. And today I thought, oh, 4 agreements for 4 piles. I was like, ha ha ha. And then when I went to pull the 4th card, I felt like there was more. And I was like, oh, you want me to pull more per pile? And they're like, no, we're going to do 5 piles today. So it may just be a card. I don't know if we're going to pull more cards. Right now, it's just a pick a card, but it may go into a pick a pile. I'm not really sure. So in front of you here, we have left to right, we have 5 piles. We have pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, pile number 4, and pile number 5. Pile number 1 says speak openly and honestly. Pile number 2, surrender and let go of the past. And pile number 3, ask for what you want. Pile number 4, see other people as they are. And pile number 5, card number 5, ignore the opinions of others. The 4 agreements are on the tops. So we have don't make assumptions, always do your best, don't take anything personally, and let's see, what's the 4th one? Be impeccable with your word. So be impeccable with your words, not in here, but those are the 4 agreements. And yes, it was a book first. It's an amazing book. A beautiful fellow light worker gave me the book, oh gosh, many moons ago, almost 11 years ago now. And that book really changed my life. It changed the way I looked at everything. And it's a really good reminder right now to let us know that when we're setting these intentions, we need to think of these 4 agreements in our mind. Don't make assumptions of other people or yourself. Always do your best. Don't take anything personally, and be impeccable with your word. You may be called to more than one card. If you are, feel free to read them. I honestly feel like this is one of those readings. I mean, I haven't started yet, but this feels like one of those readings to me that each card would have a message for all of us no matter what. You know what I mean? Like no matter your situation, no matter, because we're all one. And right now in real time, it's March 7th. Tomorrow is International Women's Day. This whole month is like, it's interesting because we haven't used the Divine Feminine yet. I'm assuming we're probably going to use it at some point. Probably around spring, around when we're, changing from winter to spring and from summer to fall for the Southern Hemisphere. But in this reading, I'm just feeling this kind of very scattered energy. And I know it's hard to keep our focus on ourselves and our intentions when there are so many things going on the planet, especially, I don't want to bring up, I don't want to be Captain Obvious every reading right now. We all know what's going on in the world. It doesn't mean I don't pray for it, send it good energy. You know what I mean? All that. But I also trust that we are exactly where we're meant to be and that this will all work itself out. And I do believe that our guides and our people, our creator, protectors, you can go on and on. I believe that our people will absolutely be there for us and for everyone involved. So a lot is going to come forward. One thing Spirit wanted me to say was, remember the whole thing with the moon. Did they really land on the moon? Did they not land on the moon? You know what I mean? Did they make a movie of it? Some people right now are saying that right now. You know what I mean? So there's a lot happening. The dimensions, a lot of things are bleeding through with each other. So you're not alone. You're not alone. You are divinely protected and divinely guided. And so whichever pile's called to you, go to them in the order that you looked at them first. Use your pendulum if you're not sure. But we're going to take it a little light today. I have a feeling we're just going to read per card. Okay. So, I did the new moon reading for the tribe. You might want to check that out. There was a lot of stuff going on there. I also did an awesome March forecast for what I'm calling our secret tribe. If you'd like to be part of the secret tribe and go into more in-depth readings than just these pick-up piles, email me at themagicalmedium@gmail.com. It's $5 or more per episode. And that, that's between you and spirit, what you can and cannot afford. If you want to do trade, we can do that too. Just reach out to me. If it aligns with the stars, then we will do that. If not, then, we'll figure something else out. Okay. If it's your medicine, it's your medicine. I'll never hold your medicine back from you. Right. A lot of you know you've been with me. Look at this random piece I just noticed of this tree. I love it. A lot of you have been with me a long time, and you know that I will never withhold information between you and spirit. If you're meant to have it, you're meant to have it. You can always pay me later. Okay. It's never about the money, but money does make the world go round. So there you go. And with that being said, if you'd like to donate or contribute to this tribe, all of my information is in the description box below. Also in my about section, all of the links are at the bottom of that page as well. So if you're ready, go into the description box below and head on over to your pile, and I'll see you over there. I love you so much. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, card number 1. Speak openly and honestly. I actually was having quite a kerfuffle trying to put your little space together. And it was interesting what was coming through. So I know this is about setting our intentions for this moon cycle in Pisces, but excuse me, Pisces, yes. Oh my gosh, I thought I heard something with Aquarius, but there's something going on. There's something going on with you guys. It's really interesting because pile number 2 says surrender and let go of the past. So if any of you were toying between 1 and 2, you may want to look at 2 after this. I have no idea what's going to be said. But that's what it feels like. It's like it was set Aquarius, almost like it wanted to go backwards, like spirit wanted to go backwards, or you wanted to go backwards, like you're trying to go back or something. And that's interesting because this is one of the 4 agreements, which is don't make assumptions, right? You know the old saying, when we make assumptions, we make an ass out of you and me. When we assume, right? Don't make assumptions. Speak openly and honestly. I want to read the back of this because I'm getting like blank from you guys. Okay, so let's see what this says. And you may want to take a screenshot of this for yourself as well. Let's get it in a way that'll be easy for you guys to get a screenshot. Okay, when you speak openly and honestly, you won't have to make assumptions. The day you stop making assumptions, you will communicate cleanly and clearly and achieve impeccability with your word. Also, I'm hearing they told me to slow down, and I said, oh, okay. And then they were saying, but to repeat it to you as well. Slow down. Slow down. You're making assumptions of people, situations. I had that this morning. I had kind of like a panic attack because I just, like, certain things just haven't been aligning the way I thought they would at this point. And I just had a little bit of and then I just started throwing more gasoline on the fire, adding in all of the things that still need to be done or haven't been done. And the deadlines are on the corner and blah, blah. And I was like, whoa. And I was like, wow. And then I realized I was creating drama. Some of it was true and needed to be right. Like it says, when you speak openly and honestly, sometimes we have to speak openly and honestly, which I did, but I made assumptions about other things. So this is for me too, right? So the day we stop making assumptions and we communicate cleanly and clearly and achieve impeccability with our word. So your intention, this is your intention for this moon cycle, for this last moon cycle of the zodiac, because Aries is like the New Year's of the zodiac, right? It's It's the first house. We're in the 12th house right now. So in this last moon cycle, and actually for, we're all in the midst of change right now, because whether you live in the northern or the southern hemisphere, we're at the last few weeks. Whenever you watch this, it's timeless, but if you're watching it in real time and you're feeling this heaviness, or maybe when you watch it at some point, it'll be at another time where it's changing, or you're going through a big change. But I'm feeling like you guys are empaths, feeling like a really heavy energy from the outside world. And I get the vibe too that some of you guys kind of don't speak your truth fully when something's upsetting you and bothering you. I found myself doing that today. I don't know if this is my pile, but I'm just sharing that, I realized I was falling back into old patterns of enabling, because I don't want anyone to suffer, right? So I want everyone to just have the answers quickly so that, but that's not really how it works. It sounds nice, right? Like that we could just put everything in this nice little package, in this nice little bow. We set our intentions, we put them off into the world, and we say, okay, all right, universe, I'm ready. We're speaking openly, we're speaking honestly, but we're still making assumptions, right? Because we're like, okay, well, this is the outcome that I want. I mean, the word assumption, when you think about it, has vast meaning. So your message, your spirit medicine, should you choose to accept it, is to speak openly and honestly. And don't make assumptions of yourself, others, especially spirit, right? And we've got all different things pulling us this way and that way. This spiritual leader telling us this, politician telling us that, this religious leader, sticking up for this and offending that, right? It's hard. We got to think for ourselves. We have to really think for ourselves. First and foremost, we must think for ourselves. Then and only then can we communicate. See, listen to me. I'm moving too quickly. Then and only then can we communicate cleanly and clearly and achieve impeccability with our word. So you may even want to go back and take a screenshot of that, and this one too, put them on your phone or write it on a post-it. So your spirit medicine, for at least for this moon cycle, is don't make assumptions. It's the irony. We're in the setting intentions phase, right? But we can still set intentions to help ourselves, right? Because setting an intention doesn't always have to be, I want a new car. You know what I mean? It's not like rubbing the genie lamp. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, we're putting it out into the universe, but at the same time, sometimes we need to set intentions. It's like every moon cycle is kind of like New Year's Eve, right? We get a brand new chance, a brand new opportunity to do something different, to come from a different place, to speak openly and honestly and say, yes, I'd love to do that. And no, I don't. And you don't have to explain yourself. If you're tired, you're tired. You do not have to take advice from other people or live your life by somebody else's rules. I've been sticking my foot down hardcore lately, like hardcore, because I'm realizing so much of like what I want. Here, look, I'm coughing. Drink some water. Throat chakra. Because what I really want isn't happening. So I've just been like kind of going in this like la 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 la. But I'm realizing I'm pulling attention away from the thing I want. We don't have to like live in our manifestation every 5 seconds, right? Once we set it out into the universe, spirit acts in kind. It may not be exactly in the moment and the time that we want it, but it will show up in the way that it's meant to. 1421, when I look down, that's your angel number. You just research that on your own. So your guidance for this moon cycle is to set the intention to no longer make assumptions. No longer try and control and plan an outcome. And also recognize that usually when you're in the most uncomfortable place you could possibly be, where you want to scream and punch a pillow, which is good, get it out, right? It's okay. When we're so frustrated, it's because we're light workers, we're spirit warriors. We know that this is all in context, because we understand and realize that we can fly, that we are magic, that we can have and do whatever we want. Wherever we come from, we understand this. But here on Earth, it's a different frequency. It's a different energy field. We fly in different ways, right? So utilize this energy in this moon cycle to be really honest with yourself and with others, and just speak openly, because something is holding you back. And I had a conversation with someone recently that was really hard to have, and I realized I was having all this anxiety around it, because I'm like, I don't want to tell them this, or I don't want to, and then when I worked through the conversation, I started to realize, like, it wasn't, I put this thing on it, and it really wasn't as bad. And they responded completely differently than I thought they were going to respond, which was so cool, because, there's that part of you that can't help but be like, are they going to respond like they did before, or years past, or, you know what I mean? Because you try to keep the fluidity and the happiness. But we can't just keep shoving dollars in the swear jar, At some point, we have to finally shift our thinking. I don't know what show it was, but it was something like that, or the complain jar or something. And it was a rich person, and they kept putting money in there. And I liked what they were saying, like that they had to put it towards charity and all that. And it was great. But still, that's just somebody saying, okay, well, I'm not going to actually change. I'm just going to put this good energy towards it in a different way. And the Spirit's like, that's cool. You can do that. That's awesome. But just so you know, whatever you keep trying to do is going to stay the same unless you actually change it. So you can keep putting money in the swear jar, but until you actually stop swearing, and that's just, who cares? I say fuck all the time. They're just words, but you know what I'm saying? I'm using it as an analogy. It's whatever it is to you, right? So I love you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. If you did, feel free to subscribe, like, comment, contribute. All of my information is in the description box below, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for being here. We love you so much. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, card 2. Your angel number is 1733. I really loved putting your energy together right now. Oh, it was so different from card 1, and it's just really lovely. The way they had me set this up, do you notice how this, like, there's like this fire energy around there? And I kept hearing from Spirit, keep the home hearth burning. Surrender and let go of the past. In one of the 4 agreements, this is always do your best. So in this last Pisces moon, the last moon of the zodiac year, we'll be starting fresh with Aries in a few weeks. It'll still be in this moon cycle, but this is the last moon cycle of the zodiac year. And it's a water energy. It's a flowing, free, deep intuition, deep love, deep motivation, deep trust. I feel like for some of you, you've had a rebirth in your relationships. That's why you were drawn to this. It could even be a rebirth in a relationship with yourself, because I love the way that the one bird is looking at the other bird. It's like, if you notice, one bird is kind of looking down and the other bird is like really looking at the bird intensely. And I almost feel like this bird is like your higher self, like going, we're almost, you got it. We're almost there. We're almost there. A lot of us are feeling a lot of depletion right now for multiple reasons. But no matter if you live in the northern or the southern hemisphere, we are so close to changing the baton of the season, right? We're about to switch the baton. We're about to pass the baton. I was like, they were like kind of showing me this Olympics. I'm like, what are you talking about? But right, like for northern, we're about to go from winter to spring. For the southern, we're going from summer to fall. Massive transition. especially those of us in the Northern Hemisphere that are coming out of the winter hibernation energy. So, it's okay to let go of the past and start something new. Use these next few weeks. Whenever you watch this, it's timeless. So it's still the same medicine. Use the next 2 weeks to really sink in deep with your heart and your soul and your energy, to connect, to release that pain, the suffering, crying, to really let go of the past. No more looking, we can look back for things. Yes, we reference. It's like a catalog in our mind, right? We're our own computer. Of course, we reference our past. If we cleared away our past completely, we wouldn't be able to know anything we know, right? I mean, think about it. If you were like a computer and somebody rebooted you from scratch, you'd have to learn how to walk again, talk again, right? So it's not about a total reboot. It's just about we go to the past to lend information for our current so we can make good choices for our future. So I feel like in the relationship status, let go. If you've decided to stay together, if you have decided to move forward, whether it's a family member, a job, whatever it is, let it truly heal. Because I'm seeing this kind of like merry-go-round of the same, conversations or the same arguments or the same, it's just this round and round and round and round. And you're like, I want off this merry-go-round. I need something different. Something has to change. And Spirit's saying, that's right. And by letting go of the past, by surrendering, and also surrendering to the fact that you don't know where you're going either. And that's okay. You're in an exciting place where you're not sure where you're going. You just know you're done being where you are. That's wonderful. I've used this analogy before, but I will use it every time it comes into play because it's important. And years ago, when I was going through my awakening and going through my transformation, I had shared with one of my shamans how I kept, continually tried to kill myself over my lifetime. And I don't feel like I'm from here. I don't belong here, blah, 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 and all those things, right? And she said, how do you feel now? I'm like, the same. I'm like, I don't care if I die. I could kill myself tomorrow. I don't care. And she was good. And I just looked at her, and she was the first person that said that to me. And she said, now we can begin. Because she said, it's only when you're at that place where you're so sick and tired of it that you can't do it anymore. You can't go through the emotions anymore. You can't go through that same argument. You can't anymore. You cannot. When you have finally reached that point, that is where the magic happens, when you don't know what the fuck is coming next. And that's when you have to surrender to Spirit and trust and do your best. It's one of the 4 agreements. Always do your best. You can end something in a beautiful way. You don't have to do it where you're beating it to the ground or making someone feel awful. All of these lessons, I feel like, are here for me too, because I had so much medicine. I said at the beginning of this, I'm like, I have a feeling that there's going to be medicine in each card for all of us, because these cards are no joke. And they have a lot of things to say. So on the back of each card, there is words, okay? And you may want to even, put this, take a screenshot of this, if that helps you. And I'm going to move this over here. Let me get a better shot. We can move things. Okay. You want to get a screenshot of that and then keep that on your phone, so when you're having a rough time or you're not sure, what's going on, Spirit's like, well, we'll help you. Like, let us help you. Sorry, I'm just trying to get a good light so you guys can get it. Look at that. Look at how the fire keeps going on the past. Do you see that? Okay, there we go. Perfect. Thank you, Spirit. We are in gratitude. Okay, so if you want to get a screenshot of that, there you go. So it says, whatever life takes away from you, let it go. When you surrender and let go of the past, you will allow yourself to be fully alive in the moment. Letting go of the past means that you can enjoy the dream that is happening right now. Yeah. And also, you know, when we try to change others, that is really dangerous too, right? If we're trying to change somebody else because we're like, well, I'm here. We could do this together, but sometimes we can't do things together with people because they're not on the same trajectory that we are. I've had to walk away from my partner in nearly 7 years. We've lost count. We're in the double digits. But we always knew that we were meant to be together, but there were times where we had to separate. It was non-negotiable. We had to, because I was moving at such an accelerated rate that I could no longer like stay in that space for them, and they needed to go through what they needed to go through. You know, it's so personal to each of us, you know, and that's one of the agreements too, right? Like, we can't take anything personally. And if you've never read this book, I highly recommend you get it. Most libraries have it, so you can check it out for free. It's called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And I'll put a link below, you know, or I'll just write it down below so you can, I'll put it, I always say, look in the description box. There's always kind of like recommendations from the reading. So I'll put it down there below so you know. I used to put the Oracle decks on there, but it's interesting how they haven't been calling me to do that. So I'll do it today though. Anyway, whatever life takes away from you, let it go. When you surrender and let go of the past, you allow yourself to be fully alive in the moment. Letting go of the past means that you can enjoy the dream that is happening right now. So, surrender and let go of the past. No matter who it is, what it is, you know, there's a reason why it's there. And also, look at how they're having me go to that in the background. Don't take anything personally. Look at that. Don't take anything personally. I know it's a tough one, but we have to. It's not that they don't love you. Spirit wants me to say that too for some of you. It's like you're taking it personally. Like they don't love you enough. Like you're like, if you loved me. Now listen, I have done the same thing. That's why I'm telling you right now, like I have done the same thing with my partner. It's not going to make them wake up any faster. It's just not going to. Nothing you say or do is going to bring them to your level of consciousness at the rate that you want it to happen. And it's interesting because before they had me put the thing there, but look at how, do you see in the picture? It's like there's a flame under their ass basically. But it's like they're warm and toasty. They're not sitting right on the flame, right? Like they've got a protection. They're just feeling the warm and fuzzy of it. But man, if that fire is like right under their ass, you guys are going to keep fighting. And see how this one's looking down? And you're like, do as I say, if you loved me. It's like this judgment. It's like you're giving judgment to this. Or it could be the opposite, that you need to let go because this is you. And you're like this powerful fucking healer. And you've got somebody who doesn't believe in any of it and is telling you, you know, keep it away or you're crazy or whatever the languaging that's, you know, happening in each of your relationships. And that's not healthy. And that's not where you belong. Because you would not be on this channel. If you have found yourself here and you're new here, welcome. Welcome to the new subscribers. You know, I've noticed that we've been kind of switching around lately. So people are walking away and people are coming in. So it's wonderful. It just means our energy keeps flowing. And to me, I feel like that's really cool because, you know, it's power in numbers and you're not alone. Listen to those pretty birds out there. They're singing just for you. And I'm singing this just for you, right? Donny Hathaway. Okay, so always do your best. So you're setting your intentions for this moon cycle, for this Pisces moon cycle, is to just do your best. Surrender and let go. Let go of the past. Flow in this Piscean energy. It's water. Sink deep into your intuition. Really get down in there. Talk to your higher self on a daily basis. Talk to your spirit guides. Ask them for help. Ask all of your people. I spent 4 days last week with the dragons. I was so exhausted on Saturday and Sunday. I mean, today is Monday and I'm still like, oh my gosh. but it was intense and it was amazing. And then my last day when I finally said goodbye to them, it was so cool. And I was like, oh my gosh, just see like what they really looked like, how big they were, and just like, and I cried. One, because I wanted to go with them. I was like, I can leave this planet right now. Let's go. I'm good, you know. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then they were just like, no, you got this, you got this, you got this, you know. And then when they left, it's like I feel like I've been going through this withdrawal. So if you're somebody who works really closely with spirit, you also may be, you know, struggling a little bit, because whenever you're in the third dimensional energy, it just feels so wrong. It feels, maybe it goes south a lot, or, you know, just weird things are happening, like, you know, with your bills or your car or just whatever. There's a reason why that's happening. It's because something is off kilter. And most of the time it's because we're trying to force something. So just go with the flow of it. Do the best you can. Okay, you guys, all of my information is in the description box below. And also, if some of you are feeling like you want to work with me one-on-one, but you don't, you know, I do recordings too, you know, and I do most of my one-on-one sessions, I do over the phone. I don't do Zoom unless Spirit really calls me to, because I really like that we're on the phone. It's just, we're just connecting through our voices, right? Like you're in your space, I'm in my space, and we connect together. But also, I haven't offered this in a while, but if you're interested, I do readings at a much lower rate. If you work with me one-on-one, it's $55 for half an hour and $100 for an hour. But if you want a recorded reading, it's $50. And then it's just, sometimes it could be as long as an hour and a half, you know, and it's just all about you. It's whatever message, you know, it could be 20 minutes, it could be an hour and a half. But if you're, you know, really needing some deeper guidance on your path right now, I do offer those services. I just don't talk about them all the time. If Spirit calls me to put it on my page, I will, but at this time they haven't. This is literally the first time in a while they've actually had me say this at all on a reading, or in any other capacity, with the video and all that. So all my information is in the description box below, but it's also in the about section at the bottom and the links. So there's a link directly to my email, which is themagicalmedium@gmail.com. But don't forget that magic is Magick, Magical Medium. Anyway, I hope this helped you guys in any way. I love you so much. Just know you're not alone. You're not alone. Keep reaching out and keep looking forward. You're doing a really good job. We love you so much. All my information's in the description box below, and I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, card 3. This may be the longest pause I've taken between readings without like moving. Meaning like putting your pile together. That exasperation isn't for against you. It's more like for you. Like, wow. Again, drink some water, throat chakra. I got this from another pile. Ask for what you want. When I say it took a long time, it's because I was trying to put this together and I just kept getting this pushback from you guys. Like, you don't see how fucking awesome you are. Like, you don't see how awesome you are. And it's just, it makes me sad, because I'm like, who are you? You're like these beautiful creatures, yet I'm feeling this energy like you think you're not good enough. Or for some of you, I feel like you think asking for what you want is like, that's just too much, or that's too crazy, or that can't really happen, can it? That couldn't really happen for me, could it? And Spirit's saying, yes. Look at the little glitter. Can you see like the glitter reflecting off of the butterfly onto here? It's like, yes, they're trying to say like, you're magic everywhere. And if you found yourself to this channel or on this channel at any point, there's a reason why we're all doing these moon readings right now. And for you guys in particular, card number 3, you are witchy, powerful, like moving to the moon cycles, making your choices, and you're like really like looking at astrology, things like that would really behoove you. You guys are super, super, super powerful. You're not like everybody else. In fact, I'm kind of getting this thing like some of you are still trying to go to these normal, quote unquote, normal, you know, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 kind of thing, right? And it's different for everybody. It could just be you work graveyard and you hate it, you know, whatever. But you're working in these fields or these jobs that are not magical. And it's hard for you to even believe in magic because you're surrounded by what I kind of feel like is assholes, actually. I kind of feel like you're surrounded by assholes, whether it's at your work, your home, both. It could be friends, like maybe you used to really get along with your friends. They're kind of having me move this around a little bit. And now you find like you don't really, you can't even hang out with them anymore. You can't, like the things they say, the things you say, like the things you want to talk about, the things they want to talk about. Also, look at, they're having me move this over a little bit. Look at, do you see the witch's tarot in back here, right? I mean, there's a reason why. If you ever look at each, when you look in my pick a pile readings, each pile always has its own like little altar, right? Or its own little, it's got messages everywhere. This is Rosemary. Rosemary wanted to come in today. I got this from this gorgeous local farm. And I'm going to burn a little bit for you. Burning rosemary is really, really therapeutic. I want you to research rosemary and its magical and healing and protection properties. I keep sprigs of rosemary all over my house, around my windows, my doors. So you guys are really powerful. You know, you didn't come here to play small, right? So, you know, I'm also getting this kind of kumbaya vibe from you guys, which is okay too, right? Because, you know, you're like, I'm just going to be cool. I'm just going to be chill. I'm just going to, you know, let things, you know, play out as they may. And Spirit's saying, don't make assumptions though. Don't make assumptions, because you have to ask for what you want. You know, just thinking it is manifesting, yes, but you also have to, you know, really talk to your higher self, because you're here on a journey. This is Earth School. So we have, yes, we have certain parts of our soul contract and our agreement, right, with Spirit and with ourselves and with the universe of what we've come here to do and accomplish. But we also have free will. So, you know, it's kind of that thing where you're like, okay, so, oh, this weekend I'm free. I have nothing going on. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And you make this list, right? And you're like, all these things that you're going to do on your days off, and the things you want to do, the things you have to do, right? All that kind of thing. And then you like are your own slave driver. Oh, thank you. Ooh, it's first time that came in. So look up Rooster Spirit Medicine, because obviously the rooster wants to talk to you. So you just Google Rooster Spirit Medicine, spirit animal, and whichever one you're drawn to. That's your magic, right? But then there we are. If we're not being slave, it's like we've grown into this slave mentality so deeply that even when we're not at our job that we feel a slave to, right? Because not all of us hate our jobs. I love my job. I love doing this. This is amazing. You know, it's like I remember being in that where I, you know, had a boss, now I'm my own boss. But I remember that. And then on the weekends, I was like trying to tick off all the boxes on my list. And then if I didn't get to things, I'd feel bad about myself. I'd be like, oh, I didn't dust again. Oh, I'm a failure. You know what I mean? It's like if somebody else isn't kicking our ass, we are kicking our ass for them, which is like so fucked up when you think about it, right? Especially when, I'm going to move this over a little bit, right? And you can really see the witches, right? Especially when we're like these powerful, powerful healers and light workers. We are the real deal. This is no joke. If you found yourself on this channel, that's why I say wayward warriors, light workers, spirit warriors. You're not like everybody else. You're a magical, sparkly butterfly, right? And when we make assumptions of ourselves or others, well, we've already lost the game. And here it's like, Spirit's like, do you see how it, down here, it looks like it's a face? Do you see that it's a face? But if you took away the eye, it's a landscape. It's like here it's oh shit. Oh, ooh, that's happened before. I've done that before. So wow, that's powerful. Talk about witchy. Aw, poor card. Isn't that interesting though? Hold on. The cool thing about this is I'll never forget that in that card. You know what I mean? And maybe it'll be because it's meant to come up for something later. But you see how it's a face? It's like an eye, a nose, and a mouth. And out of the mouth is, you know, he's like birthing, or they are birthing an idea. It's very androgynous, right? They're speaking life into being. They're planting the seed. But if you look at it, it's this way, right? So he's like it's like underneath, like our subconscious. It's like we need to plant the seeds, but then we also have to speak them into being. And the angels and our guides, like they cannot help us unless we ask for help. So on the back of this card, it says, let me get in there. If you guys want to take a screenshot of that too, I can go in a little bit closer. Here we go. Find the courage to ask for what you want. Others have the right to tell you yes or no, but you always have the right to ask. Likewise, everybody has the right to ask you for what they want, and you have the right to say yes or no. Now listen, some people try to tell us that we don't have that right? Because they try to make us feel guilty about something. If you have anyone in your life, whether it's a significant other, family, friends, your boss, right? If they want you to do something for them, even though you're telling them that you're tired or you're uncomfortable or whatever, and then they get angry at you, that is not a person you want in your life. You understand? Like that's really, really important. And Spirit wants you to understand that. Here, I'm going to turn it back around. So be mindful and ask for what you want, but don't make assumptions about yourself or other people. It is the old adage, when you make it, when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. And for some of you, I'm feeling like you're angry because things aren't happening the way you want them to. And Spirit's like, yeah, but you're assuming that people know what you want. And then you're getting angry or getting upset because they're not giving you what you want. If you keep asking somebody, or you keep telling them what you need and they're ignoring you and they're not listening to you, that's a red flag. Your needs are just as important as someone else's. And if they're saying that your needs are less important and their needs are more important, well, that's a serious red flag right there. Massive. And people don't even realize they're doing it. And that's why we have to talk to each other and communicate with each other and say, hey, that's not right. That's not right. Let me see. You're the only pile that I feel like, are we going to pull another card? It's either that or there's somebody. Let me see what Spirit has to say. Also, Spirit saying for some of you, they wanted me to point out that, do you see how this is like, it's like if you look at these layers, we were starting to talk about it before about the subconscious. If you look at these layers, it's like they're planting a seed through their manifestation, right? This is too close. I'm like, stop burning me. And it's underneath the ground. But see, it's got to go through all these layers, right? If you plant a seed, you have to give it time to grow. So I'm hearing for some of you, you just need to have a little more patience. And in the making assumptions thing too, is if you are trying to control the outcome, whichever it is for you, right? It's all different for all of us. But if you're trying to control the outcome, well, there you go. I mean, that's a non-win-win, right? Like when we're trying to control it and we think we know better, we don't. Our higher self does, Spirit does, and we have to trust in them that whatever we asked for is going to come. But stop trying to control how it's going to show, because this is the last moon cycle in the zodiac, right? This is the Pisces moon these last few weeks. So work with that water flow energy. Let go of like what should be, what could be, and just allow, and use your witchy stuff, do things that make you feel good. Get out in nature. I mean, this looks like a tree to me too, right? So get out in nature. Okay. Those are all the messages I have for you guys today. All of my information is in the description box below, and I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, card number 4. Your angel number is 4414, 4414. You can look that up on your own. You just Google in the numbers an angel number, and whatever comes up, whichever ones you're drawn to, that's your medicine. Okay, so card number 4. Wow, so much was coming through when I was putting this together. So first of all, this comes from the 4 Agreements, right? This comes from the 4 Agreements book. I'm going to put the information below in the description box. If you're not familiar with this book, I highly recommend you read it. It's so, so good. It changed my perspective on the world. And I don't think it, even though I read it almost 11 years ago, I don't think it really seeped in until about 4 years after I read it and started to really work with people like in a spiritual capacity like this. But this was one of the hardest ones, and still is a difficult one, a very challenging one for us, which is don't take anything personally. Because we have just been in this, somebody does something and it affects us. We must have done something, right? We don't realize how much our ego feeds into that. It doesn't seem like that, right? Because you're like, hey, but they said that hurt my feelings. It's like, well, if it hurt you, you have to find out why it hurt you, right? So underneath that, it says, see other people as they are. And when I was putting the lights together, I actually wanted this candle to go more over here. I liked it better, like for the coloring wise. And they were like, no. And they were insistent on putting it on your crown chakra. And I love the fact that they're looking down because they want you to see that image of that person looking down with their eyes closed like a prayer. So that when someone is really getting your goat, or you're really irritated, or whatever, you have to remember and think from your crown chakra, connect to the higher realms, to your higher self, of knowing that whatever this person is going through has nothing to do with you, even if they think it is, even if you think it is, even if it is, even if you did do something, their reaction to it is a much deep-rooted energy and emotion. So when we see people as they are and not who we want them to be, when we see ourselves as who we are and not who we think we should be, that's when the whole game changes. So in this beautiful waxing crescent moon energy, I want you to set your intentions to not take anything personally. Moving forward from the time you watch this reading until the end of time, your time, right, on this planet, do your best not to take anything personally. And when you find that you are, try and take a moment and just stop the conversation. Even if it's like you're mid-sentence and you're like, I'll be back in like 5 minutes, and go for a walk. Take a breather, take a minute. Because then you'll be able to see yourself and that person, you'll be able to see yourselves at a higher elevation of self rather than this third dimensional human, like this fight, this argument, like whatever's happening, right? So on the flip side of these cards, they have words. So if you want to take a screenshot of this, I always try to get it in the best possible way that you can get a good screenshot. Let me see. Sometimes if I go darker, oh, too dark. Too dark. Okay, so this says, when you see other people as they are, without taking it personally, you can never be hurt by what they say or do. Even if others lie to you, it's okay. They are lying to you because they are afraid you will discover that they are not perfect. Let that sink in for a minute. Right? That's a tough one. But your intention this moon cycle is to work with this energy, not take anything personally. And if someone is talking to you, I remember I would have these fights with my partner, right? When they were in the deep, deep, darkest part of their addiction. And he's not the only one. I've been in a lot of relationships with narcissists, sociopathic tendency people, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm like, they could be a serial killer. I'm not really sure, you know? I've been with a lot of, but I'm not perfect either, right? I'm not judging it. I'm just saying, like, you know, so much of my victim or what I put on myself was like what these other people did to me. But what was really happening was I was like, how dare you do this to me? Or how dare you do this to us again? Roar! Like putting it onto the universe instead of saying, wow, what provoked this? Are you okay? What can we do? Now, mind you, I know, I get it. I've had to walk away from a lot of narcissists in my life because there's just no talking to some people. And if you're saying that in your head right now, if that's even whirling around, then you know that whoever this is hitting right now for you is your test. This could be this person who's been put in your life. I don't like those kind of words, but sometimes it is. It's not a test like you're taking, like you're going to fail or pass. It's more like, how are you going to move past this challenge? Are you going to do the same thing you've always done and get what you've always got? Or are you going to take a leap of faith forward and change it and step out of your comfort zone and realize that they're human and you're human, but you can still love them and not be with them? Or you can love them and choose, if they're really genuinely changing and growing, but they're just not moving as quickly as you'd like them to, that's a different thing. And still at that point, you can choose to step forward or step back. This is your choice. But if you put it in a victim mode, if we choose to go into victim mode, then we're not moving forward because we're saying, well, then I'm just going to stay in this comfort zone because it just feels better here. And they're like, okay, well, just, it's going to keep going like that. And some people may take years to change. And if you want to stay and you want to, that's fine. And same if it's your job. It's like, if you love your job and you're like, that's just my boss. You're like, they're not going to be here forever. Maybe they'll transfer. It's like, maybe they will and hang out. You know what I mean? Hang in there if you want to. It's like, these are our choices. But also it's like, we have these basic 4 agreements with each other as human beings. When first time I read this book by Miguel Ruiz, I remember thinking, like, it's so trivial, yet it's so true. If we all lived by the 4 agreements, there'd be no war, there'd be no hunger. You know what I mean? Everybody would have a warm house. We'd all take care of each other because it's just basic common decency is what these agreements are. And even when someone's yelling at you and you're like, oh my God, shut up. And it's like, then it's like you're feeding the fire. But sometimes you have to be like, okay, this is somebody who's really hurt. This is somebody who does not know how. This is an inner child wounded that doesn't know or doesn't have the capacity to know how to handle the situation. When I started looking at all of my relationships with people like this card, I started to see the whole world differently. Of course, I still get disappointed and I still get angry. That's natural because we want to flip the switch, right? We're like, oh, you're doing good. Awesome. No, don't change. Now you're good, right? Keep going forward. Don't slip up. Don't fuck up ever. That's not natural, especially if somebody's been doing something for a really long time or they've been looking at the world through filtered glasses and all of a sudden now they're woke. Some people, they wake up really quickly and some people, it takes them lifetimes. And just because you've had a past lifetime with them and you're like, oh, we're meant to be in this one. It's like, yeah, but maybe you're meant to stop right now. Maybe you were only meant to go this far so that you could carry on doing your magic and they can figure out what that is, right? Because people who guilt you to come back or like, just hang in there for me, hang in there for me. We can only hang in there as long as it's healthy for us. When it becomes unhealthy, we must step away. So, what it says here, it says, even if others lie to you, it's okay. They're lying to you because they're afraid you will discover that they're not perfect. And that's the truth, isn't it? And especially when we're dealing with narcissists or sociopathic behavior or ego, because that's all it is. It's just different levels of our ego. We want to be perfect because we were told in some weird, crazy world that perfect exists, and it doesn't. You look up into the stars, you can tell that it doesn't. I mean, think about it. If we were going to have stars, wouldn't they just be perfectly aligned, like when you see when a kid's making a picture and they're making all this, I'm not saying every kid, but did you ever see that, right? Like, I've had that. One of the littles in my life has made me a picture, and the stars are, almost like they're perfect the way that they had them lined up, but they're not. If you look into the sky, there's all these different constellations. Things are blinking, constantly moving. Stars are bright. Stars are dying. Stars, you know what I mean? It's like, what's the black matter? Doesn't anybody want to know what the black matter is, right? There's no such thing. But in science, it's like, oh, there should be some, between science and religion and politics, this utopian energy, this utopian society. It's not real. It's not natural. We come from all different places, from all over the galaxy, all over the universe. We're not meant to be the same. We are meant to be different. And you are exactly where you're supposed to be. So if you can start looking at people with love and hear in their voice, like, oh, wow. I had a breakthrough moment today with my partner about that, where I've been trying to explain something for a long time. And I said, I feel like no matter how much I say it, and then I finally broke it down and said, do you really understand what I'm saying? And they said, I don't know. I don't think so. And so then I broke it down, and then I gave them an analogy that Spirit gave me to give them. And bam, it was like the light